only hankering for gold, women, and prestige. This is not the result of studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam will not yield such result. इस प्रकार का भागवत पाठ बंद होना चाहिए. Such type of recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam should be given up. So here it is told very clearly. 1904 ईस्वी सन में मैंने नीलाचल में चैतन्य चरितामृत की व्याख्या करनी आरंभ की थी. So in Prabhupada is telling in 1904, I was in Nilachal. Nilachal is the place where Lord Jagannath resides. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada began to discuss Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita there. बहुत से लोग सुनने आते थे, किंतु उनमें से बहुत लोग मेरी बातों को समझ नहीं पाए. A lot of people used to come and hear my Harikatha, but a lot of those people, they could not understand what I was speaking. जो खाने पीने सुविधा पूर्वक रहने आदि में ही व्यस्त है, वे वैष्णवता से सैकड़ों हजारों योजन दूर है. There are some persons, they are only interested in eating, drinking, and living very comfortably. They are very far away, millions and millions of miles away from Vaishnava Dharma. उनके साथ हमारी कोई प्रतियोगिता नहीं है. We have no competition with them. हम कृष्ण विमुख लोगों के संग से हजारों योजन दूर अवस्थित हैं. We are thousands of miles away from the persons who are averse to Sri Krishna. भागवत श्रवणाकांक्षी व्यक्ति के साथ ही हमारा संबंध है. Now, who should we associate with? Who should we relate with? Then we should have a relationship with only that person who is eager to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. समर्पित आत्मा व्यक्ति के निकट ही भागवत का कीर्तन करना चाहिए. We should discuss Bhagavatam, but before who? Before that person who is dedicated to Krishna, the spiritual master. दूसरी ओर जो दुख में पड़े हुए हैं, उनका उद्धार करना भी हमारा प्रधान कर्तव्य है. And there are a lot of people in this world, they are suffering like anything. So it is our primary duty to deliver them also. We should try to rescue them also. किंतु आजकल उसमें ही विपद परेशानी है. दो पक्षों में झगड़ा चल रहा है. तृतीय पक्ष उनका झगड़ा मिटाने जाकर लाठी खाता है. But again, if we try to help others, then there is a problem today also. Suppose there are two parties who are quarreling, and the third party will go and he will try to pull down the patch of the thing. He will try to resolve their quarrel. But instead, what will happen? That both the parties will hit the third party who is acting as a mediator. डूब रहे व्यक्ति को बचाना चाहता है, जल में डूबने वाला व्यक्ति उसी को पकड़कर डुबाना चाहता है. And Prabhupada is now telling that suppose you go and try to rescue someone who is drowning, then the person who is drowning will catch hold of your neck so tightly that you yourself will drown in the attempt to save him. इसलिए विद्वेषी, इनकरेजिबल, संशोधन का अयोग्य व्यक्ति को पाने पर उसे दूर रखना चाहिए. So we have to identify that this person is incorrigible. If this person is not rectifiable, we cannot rectify his character, then we have to keep far away from such a person. अश्रद्धालु व्यक्ति को भगवान का नाम भागवत पाठ श्रवण कराने से अपराध होता है. Suppose that is a person, he has not developed faith in his heart for the holy name, nor he has faith in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we start reciting Srimad Bhagavatam before him. Then what will happen? Oh, that will lead to an offense. So we should not try to recite Bhagavatam before a person who doesn't have faith in Bhagavan. We should be very careful about this. किंतु आजकल ऐसे व्यक्ति हरिनाम ग्रहण करने का अभेद करके विपदगामी हो रहे हैं. Now these people are actually, they pretend as if we are taking Harinam. we are chanting Harinam, we are accepting Harinam from the spiritual master. They get deluded. The family get deluded. हमारी गुरु भी कह रहे हैं जो इच्छा करो किंतु वार्षिक दे जाना. And there are some spiritual masters who are spiritual masters only for namesake, and they tell, my dear, do what you like, but you must give me annual tax donation. As long as you are giving me annual donation, then you can do whatever you like. किंतु अपराध युक्त होने पर हरिनाम नहीं. Suppose you are full of offenses, then you will not be able to chant the holy name. बहादुरी करके जगत के जीवों की वंचना अथवा आत्मवंचना करना अच्छी नहीं. Now Prabhupada is telling that it is not good to others. Keep the living entities in this world, or to cheat. We should not try to cheat oneself, nor we should try to cheat others. गुणजार पदार्थों का बहुमानन करने से विफल मनोरथ होना पड़ता है. Here Prabhupada is telling that there are some objects which are born from modes of material nature. Some objects are born from mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. If you highly respect such objects which are in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, then your goal will not be achieved. नामाभास नामापराध असत्संग का त्याग करके शुद्ध नामाश्रय कर्तव्य. We should not try to chant the semblance of the holy name. Namabhas. We should not even chant the namaprad, offensive holy name. We should give up the bad association altogether. And we should take shelter of Shuddha Harinam. Sajati ashe snigdhe sadhu sangha sato vare Srimad Bhagavatarthanam आस्वादो रसिकै सह. सजातीय अर्थात एक ही प्रकार की वासना द्वारा स्निग्ध किंतु अपने से श्रेष्ठ साधु का संग करना चाहिए. Now, who should we associate with? Here Prabhupada is telling that we should associate with a person who is having the same devotional temperament like us, the mood like us. And he should be affectionate to us. And also at the same time, he should be superior to us. ऐसे रसिक साधु के साथ श्रीमद् भागवत के अर्थ का आस्वादन करना चाहिए. So we should try to relish the meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of such a रसिक साधु. श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु के तथाकथित अनुगत जनों द्वारा उनकी शिक्षा के विरुद्ध विचारों का प्रचार. There are some people in this world, they say that we are the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But actually, they are preaching against the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. बंगाल में प्राकृत सहजा लोगों का प्रबल दौरात में चल रहा है. So Prabhupada is discussing the situation in Bengal about prevalent in 100 years ago. There are some imitationists, Prakrut Sahajiyas, who take everything very lightly and they were acting in a very wicked fashion. भागवत विरोधी कथाओं को चैतन्य देव के अनुगत कथाओं के रूप में परिचय देकर बेचा जा रहा है. And these imitationists, what they are doing, they are discussing the topics that are against Srimad Bhagavatam. And they are trying to sell these pastimes as the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the pastimes approved by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. लोगों की चापलूसी करने के लिए भागवत विरोधी विपरीत कथाओं को बेचना कितना कुविचार है. And there are some people who are trying to just pamper or butter the followers, unnecessarily pamper them, sweet talk them. So they try to sell the topics which are against the mood of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is actually wickedness. This type of wickedness is indescribable by one's words. इसलिए हमारा कहना है भारत में, केवल भारत में ही नहीं, समग्र जगत में ही भागवत कथा की प्रचारित हो. So this is the desire of Prabhupada. This was the desire of Prabhupada. Prabhupada wanted that not only in the entire India, but in the entire world, the whole world, the pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam should be discussed. दूसरी समस्त कथाएं बंद हो. There should be no discussion of any other pastimes. भागवत की कथा ही श्री चैतन्य देव की कथा है. We should know that Srimad Bhagavatam is really the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. चैतन्य भागवत की कथा से चैतन्य देव की कथा का बिल्कुल पार्थक्य नहीं है. We should know for sure that there is no difference between the pastimes of Bhagavatam and the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. चैतन्य देव की कथा के सुष्ठु रूप से प्रचारित होने पर ही लोगों को नित्य मंगल की प्राप्ति होगी. If you preach the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu properly, then the people in this world will achieve the eternal auspiciousness. अनंत संचित जन्म जन्मांतर के समस्त अनर्थ, समस्त असुविधाएं दूर हो जाएंगी. So we have collected so many unwanted habits, unwanted desires from time in, and all these unwanted desires, unwanted habits are giving us all sorts of discomfort. यही श्री चैतन्य वाणी अर्थात श्रीमद् भागवत कथा ही गौरी मठ के प्रचार का विषय है. We want to preach the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we say that we want to preach Srimad Bhagavatam, what we really mean is that we want to teach the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no difference between Shikshashtaka and Bhagavatam. Shikshashtaka is the summum bonum, the ultimate essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. यही श्री चैतन्य वाणी अर्थात श्रीमद् भागवत कथा ही गौड़ीय मठ के प्रचार का विषय. So we want to teach चैतन्य वाणी, गौरवाणी. What is गौरवाणी? राय रामानंद संवाद. That is गौरवाणी. The discussion between Rupa Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is गौरवाणी. The discussion between Sanatana Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is गौरवाणी. So the Chaitanya Vani and Srimad Bhagavatam, they are non-different. And we want to preach the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In other words, we want to teach Srimad Bhagavatam. एक और भजनीय या श्रव्य वस्तु भागवत और दूसरी ओर भागवत के पाठक और श्रोता रूप सेवक तथा बीच में भक्ति या भागवत का श्रवण आदि सेवा. So our object of our worship is Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. Srimad Bhagavatam is the object of our worship. So Bhagavatam is the recipient of service. So who is the servitor? Then the readers of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are the servitors of Bhagavatam. Those are listening Srimad Bhagavatam, they are the servants of Bhagavatam. भागवत की सुष्ठु रूप से आलोचना की आवश्यकता है. There is a great need that we discuss Srimad Bhagavatam very carefully. श्री चैतन्य देव की अकृत्रिम दास भागवत की कथा के अतिरिक्त अन्य कोई कथा नहीं करते. The persons who are natural servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they never discuss any pastimes other than the pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we should discuss Bhagavatam only in the presence of such servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The servants who are natural servants, not artificial servants. आज चैतन्य के अनुगत दास के परिचय में कैसे कैसे अन्यायपूर्ण कार्य नहीं चल रहे. There are a lot of people. They claim that we are servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But actually they are doing so many activities which are not justified. वे सब कार्य जगत का कोई मंगल नहीं कर सकते. So these people who actually claim to be followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu but act in a wicked manner, such activities cannot bring in auspiciousness in the whole world. Our relatives, our friends, हमारे बंधु बांधव आज भागवत कथा को श्री कृष्ण को रूप के ऐतिहासिक नायक के रूप में कल्पना करके अनेक प्रकार की न सुनने योग्य कथाओं की आलोचना करके न देखने योग्य चित्रों को अंकित करके स्वयं तो नष्ट हो ही रहे हैं, साथ ही और भी कितने लोगों के दिमाग को नष्ट कर रहे हैं. Now our friends and relatives, what are they doing? They have forgotten the pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam. And they imagine that, oh, Sri Krishna was just a imaginary fictional character, or maybe he was a historical hero. And they superimpose so many pastimes on Sri Krishna. Actually, they discuss so many pastimes which are not worthy of hearing. And they draw the pictures or paintings which are not worthy of seeing. So in this way, they are destroying themselves and they are also destroying the intelligence of so many people by doing this. महाप्रभु परम प्रीतिपूर्वक जिन सब प्रसंगों की आलोचना करते थे, उसके अनेक प्रकार के कदर्थ करके सहजा लोग उसे दुकानों पर, चौराहों पर, यहाँ वहां सर्वत्र इंद्र तर्पण की वस्तु के रूप में प्रवर्तित कर रहे हैं. Mahaprabhu used to discuss very sweet pastimes like Krishna Karnamrut, Gita Govinda, all these things, Jagannath Vallabh Natak. Mahaprabhu used to discuss these pastimes in a solitary place, not in public. But there are some imitationists. They discuss these confidential pastimes of Mahaprabhu, the confidential teachings of Mahaprabhu on the shops, in the squares, everywhere. And they have made the teachings of Mahaprabhu an object of sense gratification. अत्यधिक उच्च अधिकार के लोगों के आलोच्य विषयों को उच्चता या योग्यता प्राप्त करने से पहले ही साधारण लोगों में आलोचना करना अत्यंत अन्यायपूर्ण कार्य है. There are some topics which are to be discussed only by senior devotees who are highly qualified. And such elevated topics we should not discuss. Common people should not discuss such elevated topics before they receive the qualification, before they become as great to discuss these pastimes. So, if we are unqualified and we discuss confidential pastimes of Radha Krishna, then this is called an offense. This is not the recommended behavior. मूर्ख या पंडित अभिमानी किसी के लिए भी ऐसा करना शोभनीय नहीं है. Whether one is a foolish person or one is considers oneself to be a scholar, but one should not do so. वे इन सब रहस्यपूर्ण विषयों की आलोचना करने की दांभिकता करने जाकर अपने साथ बहुत लोगों का सर्वनाश करेंगे. So there are many confidential pastimes like Rasa Leela or Govind Leela, Krishna Bhavnamrut, Mahakavya. Such pastimes are very confidential. We should not discuss such confidential pastimes. But if we, out of duplicity, discuss these confidential pastimes in common people, then it will destroy all of them because they all will develop lust and they will fall down. So confidential pastimes of Radha Krishna are not to be discussed before the masses. जो कथा मनुष्य मात्र के लिए प्रयोजनीय है, क्या मनुष्य से सुनेगा? जिसे तात्कालिक आनंद और इंद्रिय चांचल्य उपस्थित होता है, मनुष्य उसे ही सुनने के लिए व्यस्त है। Human beings don't want to listen to the pastimes of Sri Krishna, which are very auspicious. That is the nature of the human being. And if there are some topics which bring some temporary happiness or temporary sense gratification or restlessness of the see, if the topics are pertaining to temporary happiness, the people are interested in discussing topics. विवर्तवादियों की कथा को सुनना ही मनुष्य ने अपना प्रयोजन समझ लिया है. Who are the vivartavadis? There are vivartavadis who are pseudo religious. They say that actually we are Brahma, we are ourselves Bhagavan. But because we are in Maya, we have forgotten that we are Brahma. But we are ourselves God. So some people they think that, oh, we should try to hear only the pastimes which are spoken by Mayavadis. हरि कथा सुनने के लिए लोग मिलते ही नहीं. Actually, one never finds people to hear Hari Katha. It is very difficult to find members who want to hear Hari Katha. All right, Anangman Prabhu, just do little kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. जिनका भाग्य खराब है वही भक्ति का विरोध करने वाले अभक्त मायावादी के जंगल में जा फंसते हैं. There are some persons, Prabhupada is telling, that their destiny is very bad, their fortune is very bad. So they get entrapped in the clutches of Mayavadis who are non-devotees. जो भक्ति की नित्यता को स्वीकार नहीं करते वे अघभक्त की शाखा के अंतर्गत है. So here Prabhupada is telling that bhakti is eternal. Bhakti is not like a ladder. For example, I want to climb up the first floor and staircase is not yet ready. The building is under construction. So I will get a bamboo staircase, bamboo ladder, use that ladder, and then once I reach the first floor, I can discard the ladder if I want. So bhakti is not such a discardable ladder. Bhakti is the means of perfection and bhakti is also the goal. Sadhan bhakti may be the means of getting perfection, sadhan bhakti or bhav bhakti, but prem bhakti is the goal. But there are some persons, they don't accept that bhakti is eternal. They tell that bhakti is nothing. You simply practice bhakti, and once you perfect your bhakti, immediately you should give up bhakti and be situated in Brahma. Now you yourself become God. You don't need bhakti anymore. What is the need of bhakti now? Because you are yourself become Brahma, or you are yourself become God. So then, such people are like Aghasur and Bakasur. Aghasur and Bakasur are the brothers of Putana. And one was disguised as came in the shape of a serpent, gigantic serpent. Other one was a crane. So Aghasur, the snake, and this crane is actually very much representative of duplicity. Because the crane will pretend that he is standing on one leg in the water and he is meditating on the Supreme Lord. But his aim and object is to devour the fish which will come in its grasp. So those who don't accept the eternality of devotional service, such persons are actually in the branch of Aghasur and Bakasur. The living entity will never achieve auspiciousness if we associate with such non-devotee persons. We'll never attain auspiciousness if we do like this. So, प्राकृत पंच रसाशय सेवकों की धारा में विद्यमान भक्ति के प्रति लोक के उपस्थित होने में ही जगत का मंगल है. So we should try to follow the disciplined succession of the devotees, the servitors of Bhagavan, who are immersed in serving the Lord in either of the 5 transcendental mellows. What are the 5 transcendental mellows? The mellow of servitorship, mellow of neutrality, mellow of friendship, the mellow of parental affection, and mellow of conjugal love. The world will achieve consciousness if the living entities discuss these pastimes and associate with the servants. So engage your mind in either of these 5 mellows. You should develop that greed. Oh, I want to be like Hanuman. Alright? I want to be like Sugriv. I want to be like Angad. I want to be following the footsteps of Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj. I want to follow in the footsteps of Arjun. I want to follow in the footsteps of Lalita or Rup Manjari. Something like this. Some high-class mood should come. Then the world will achieve auspiciousness. Aprakrut asashrit bhakta hi param mukta purush hai. Now, who is actually a liberated person? Yanya arvindaksh mukta maninas. Yasta bhavat avishuddha buddhaya. Arya krutchena param padam tata. Patanti anadruti vishvat angraya. Those who disrespect the lotus feet of Bhagavan, such persons may imagine that they are liberated, but because they are disrespecting the lotus feet of Bhagavan, they will fall down even from the abode of liberation. But those Param Vaishnavas, the devotees of Bhagavan, who are immersed in the transcendental mellow, they are topmost liberated persons. आज जगत में उनकी कथा का अकाल पड़ा हुआ है. Unfortunately, in the whole world right now there is a famine, there is a drought because such pastimes are not available. कुछ लोग चैतन्य देव के अनुगत के रूप में अपना परिचय देने पर भी भागवत के उद्देश्य को नष्ट, कलंकित और कलुषित करने के लिए व्यस्त हुए हैं. ऐसे लोगों से श्रीमद् भागवत की कथा का संरक्षण करके भागवत को उज्जवल और पुष्ट करना ही हमारा प्रधान कर्तव्य बन पड़ा है. Actually, there are some persons, they say that, oh, I am follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But their whole aim and object is to destroy the goal of Srimad Bhagavatam. They want to tarnish the goal of Srimad Bhagavatam. They want to compromise the goal of Srimad Bhagavatam. They want to contaminate the goal of Bhagavatam. We should try to protect Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Sri Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, from such persons who introduce themselves to be followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But their whole aim and object is to destroy Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should try to nourish Srimad Bhagavatam. We should try to make Srimad Bhagavatam even more effulgent. भागवत भोगों में लिप्त तथा कनक कावड़ी प्रतिष्ठा के लोलुप जीवों के लिए प्रस्तुत किया गया कोई खाद्य पदार्थ नहीं. Srimad Bhagavatam is not some palatable food stuff or some sweet meat which is meant for the satisfaction of the persons who are engaged in sense gratification. Bhagavatam is also not meant for the persons who are very much attached to wealth, women and prestige. केवल विद्वादी कहते हैं भागवत बहुत खराब वस्तु है, इसे छोड़कर वेदांत उपनिषद आदि पढ़ने चाहिए, क्योंकि भागवत का श्रवण करने वाले में व्यभिचार उत्पन्न होकर उन्हें नरक में ले जाएगा. And there are some monists, followers of Adi Shankaracharya. They say that Bhagavatam is a very bad book. We should not hear Srimad Bhagavatam, because rather we should study Vedanta Sutras, we should study the Upanishads, because those who hear Srimad Bhagavatam, they will develop the mood of debauchery, they will develop ill character, and then they will go to the hell. किंतु जो भागवत से घृणा करते वे असाधु और मत्सरता परायण हैं. But the persons who hate Srimad Bhagavatam, who spite Srimad Bhagavatam, who disregard Srimad Bhagavatam, they are actually non-devotees and they are very much attached to enviousness. अज्ञात वशता हो या फिर रजोगुण तमोगुण के कारण हो, जिनमें भागवत के प्रति विराग है, वे सब भागवत विरोधी संप्रदाय ही ऐसा विचार करके असत पापिष्ट बनकर सांसारिक भोग के लिए नरक प्राप्त करते हैं. Sometimes out of ignorance people hate Srimad Bhagavatam, and sometimes being surcharged by the mode of passion or mode of ignorance, people start to hate Bhagavatam. If you are having dislike for Srimad Bhagavatam, if you are feeling detachment for Srimad Bhagavatam, then actually one will become engrossed in gross. And then hell actually. the entangled to hell. Sometimes Bhagavad Rasa को अपनी स्वरूप pretend to be showing that they are very religious persons. Prabhupada is telling that Charan Vyadi के चंगुल से छुटकारा पाने की बहुत अनुच्छेद we have to read every day, every hour. So that a lot of people intelligence of these it is Yasatma Buddhi tendency होता है अपने तो सत्रोत करके अपनी मूर्खता की वृद्धि करते हैं हमारा भारत you always oppose the narrations of Bhagavatam and you want to increase our foolishness and then you say that verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, they tell there are some श्रद्धा युक्त हो सकते हैं. Develop strength for practicing devotional service by spending this less time. So when we see spotless evidence of State Matam, then we'll develop faith in Bhagavad. भागवत नित्यता में भगवान के चित्र वर्णन का प्रमाण है. So Bhagavan is always podcast. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the evidence that Bhagavan performs such wonderful pastimes. And these pastimes are eternal. भागवत द्वारा कौन सा कार्य सिद्ध होता है? ये समस्त जाति की भीषणतम व्याधि की सबसे बड़ी औषधि और चिकित्सा. What is the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam? There is told that Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest medicine of the greatest mankind. And Srimad Bhagavatam is also the greatest doctor for curing the ailment, the most ailment of the mankind. इस भयानक व्याधि ने इनके दार्शनिकों में प्रवेश किया है. वेदांत पर व्याख्या अंग्रेजी भाषा में जिस तरह करते हैं. These are subject philosophers, but now to the very case, this is nothing but a simple interpretation. Is impersonalism in language. को निविष्ट अप्रिय भोगों की मार्ग से कार्य है. So a lot of people, and many human beings have a problem. They say that Bhagavan has no form. Bhagavan is formless. And it is right. And then engage is the biggest problem in this. हिरण्याक्ष हिरण्यकश्यप पूर्ण काल से जरासंध आदि इस तरह से हिरण्याक्ष हिरण्यकश्यप to deal with this. For Goma, Ravana and Kumbhakara. Very famous demons. Very serious disease. ये बीमारी चिंता से प्राणी जगत चरम मंगल के प्रति बाधा प्रदान करने के लिए सबसे अधिक करंट है. So this practice of devotional service. Bhagavad Dharma Karaka has so many attempts are being made to destroy the Bhagavad Dharma. वर्तमान समय में ईश्वर से विमुख का भाव अनुगत्य हिंद पारस is there for very nature that we want to be worse to Bhagavan. We want to follow the footsteps of Bhagavan. We don't want to worship Bhagavan. यदि कोई कहे कि भागवत निर्विशेष विचार है तो कभी भी भागवत नहीं समझ सकता. Some people say that Bhagavatam talks about personal feature of Himself. It doesn't discuss the personal feature. That person is not understood Srimad Bhagavatam. If you think of Bhagavatam describes the person of God. इस प्रकार नामापराधी के क्षण नाम ही विनाश का उपाय. Suppose someone has some namapara to the holy name. Any of the 10 is to the holy name. Then what should be done? They should continuously sing the holy name. Slowly, once namapara will go away. Once offense will go away. Similarly, if you are topmost defeat of regarding Bhagavan to be impersonal, then one will have to study Bhagavatam every moment under the guidance of Vishnu. Then only will become free all the subjects. निर्विशेष विचार स्थापित करना अपराध की चरम सीमा है. What is the greatest offense in the world? This offense is that to regard Bhagavan. This is offense to regard Bhagavan to be impersonal aspect. Bhagavan has no personality, no form. Okay, this is an opportunity. इस व्याधि से मुक्त होने के लिए भागवत निकट ग्रंथ भागवत की आलोचना करनी चाहिए. So the disease of impersonal thinking to regard one's Bhagavan to be impersonal or spiritual, the topmost offense. To become free of disease of the forms. Then one has to hear the discussion of the book Bhagavad, the scripture Bhagavad, in the presence of what Bhagavad. Devotee Bhagavad. Is the Krishna. Bhagavad के निकट नहीं. One should not try to discuss Bhagavatam in the presence of who is opposed to the philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam. तो 24 घंटे भगवान भागवत की सेवा करते हैं. भागवत से जन्म में अबद्ध नहीं है. ऐसे पूर्ण विग्रह वैष्णवगण अर्थात दिन भागवत अचिंता की मंदिर बड़ी भागवत की सुष्ठु रूप से आलोचना कर सकते. So there are some persons who are all engaged in service of Bhagavatam 24/7. If such persons are devoted, their every single activity is only made service of Bhagavatam. And they don't see the Bhagavatam. They are the Vaishnavas and they are the conscious Vaishnavas. They are followers of Islam. जो अचेतन चिंता से नहीं करते वही भागवत के सुष्ठु रूप से आलोचना कर सकते. यदि भागवत पढ़ते समय में आए कि कल्पित उपाख्यान दिए गए हैं फिर भागवत रखते नहीं. Regarding Srimad Bhagavatam, what comes in that some of these names of Srimad, they are actually true. Then we say Bhagavad. Think that he was Bhagavatam. Then we are not really understand Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam Shastras are not imaginary. Words, forms are not imaginary. She goes प्रणाली से भागवत की आलोचना करने आए अनुसार आलोचना न करने से के ऊपर के इसको बचाए अंदर से काट Suppose then given us instruction how to discuss Bhagavad, discuss Bhagavatam, we have to be humble than a more tolerant than a king. So just like a tree, वृक्ष के ऊपर के हिस्से को बचा जड़ को अंदर इसलिए 24 घंटे में से एक निमिष काल श्रवण करिए. So out of 12 hours in a day, one should not try to waste time. Not even moments time should waste in. And continually engaged in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and doing Kirtan. संप्रदाय का विषम रोग विशेष वेदांत के विचार के नाम पर गुण तमोगुण प्रकृति को वर्जित करना, सर्वत्र ब्रह्म दर्शन के नाम पर नारायण दाता बनकर जन्म और बाद प्रशंसा या फिर सेवा प्राप्त करने की चेष्टा करना. Because impersonal sect, they are suffering from the disease, and therefore their only goal is to fashion and activities of living. And they say many people they say that oh, Brahma darshan, I am having Brahma darshan, and then they say they are having Narayan. The dream people as Narayan has become. So the Brahma darshan का कर स्वयं दाता बनकर जन्मांतर अर्थात बाद में प्रसव सेवा प्राप्त करने की चेष्टा करना है. और इस चेष्टा मूल्य पूरी कर. So one should not prove Bhagavan not to have but into each talk of a footy potency. If you try Bhagavan had a potency so that it is of Guru Bhagavan has no particular form. Bhagavan is formless. Then their opinion, such opinion, personalism is not very much one penny. Jagat की आलोचना. We can understand, discuss Bhagavatam. भागवत की आलोचना की अब हम ही भिन्न देशों को in the absence of Shastam. In the absence of discussion, so many useless in this world. We should not try to engage in
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat from. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what happened. Please just sing. Hare Krishna, Maharaj, Dandavat from. You on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
There.
I got disconnected.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the cure, prescribes the cure for all the diseases. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the very form of Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra, who is the embodiment of emporium of all the mellows. तथापि अचेतन मिश्रित भाव द्वारा आवृत अवस्था में उसे देखा नहीं जा सकता. But actually we are unconscious. We are covered. Our consciousness is covered so much. And therefore we cannot see the transcendental form, beautiful form of Sri Krishna. पुनः जब तक हमारा अभिनिवेश मलयुक्त ज्ञान में रहता है, तब तक हम भगवान की श्री मूर्ति में अनेक प्रकार की मलिनता लक्ष्य करते हैं. And there are a lot of people who doubted in impersonal knowledge, contaminated knowledge. So then also see some contamination in the deity of Bhagavan. But this is actually, there is no defect in the transcendental deity of Bhagavan in the temple. But rather, it is the incompetence of our knowledge-acquiring senses that we cannot see the transcendental, beautiful form of Sri Krishna in the temple. अमल ज्ञान of the व्यक्ति उस प्रकार से दर्शन नहीं करते. The persons who have the spotless knowledge, they don't have such audience of Bhagavan. They see Bhagavan as full of knowledge, bliss and eternity. तो साधारण दिखाई देने वाली स्त्रियों अर्थात गोपियों के अनुगत नहीं. वे जो दर्शन करते हैं वे काम नेत्रों से भागवत का दर्शन करते हैं. So people see Srimad Bhagavatam with eyes full of lust. And Bhagavan is not controlled by the woman, ordinary looking woman. Actually, Bhagavan is controlled by the love of the gopis. Gopis are not ordinary women. So, unless people are able to see the gopis in Bhagavatam, their lust will not go away. विक्रीडितम ब्रजवेदम च विष्णु श्रद्धान्वितो अनुशुणिया रथवर्ण यदिया भक्तिं पराम भगवती प्रतिलब्ध कामम रुद्रोगम आशोपयमे चीर्ण दिया. So when we hear the sweet pastimes of Radha Krishna, the lust will go away from the heart. वस्तु अनेक बार मलिनता के परिमाण के अनुसार ही विभिन्न प्रकार की दिखाई देती है. अनर्थकालीन अवस्था तथा अनर्थ मुक्त अवस्था में दर्शन पृथक होता है. अनर्थयुक्त अवस्था में पूर्ण प्रकाशित वस्तु का दर्शन नहीं होता. साधारण व्यक्ति और परम मुक्त व्यक्ति के दर्शन में पार्थक्य है. So we'll discuss tomorrow this particular 25th. We are on the page number 25. Srimad Bhagavad Tatparja. So we'll stop here today, and I thank you from the core of my heart that you have joined today's class. This is actually a little difficult language because this is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's old language. But we'll definitely try to discuss to the best of our ability these particular teachings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, because they will help us understand the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we'll read every day. Sometimes Sripad Dandi Maharaj, I think he was in Vrindavan, he's in Vrindavan. So, and sometimes I, every week, every day, we should discuss, unless I'm traveling, or Sripad Maharaj is traveling, we'll be having discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So, because you can see how lofty the scripture is, how important the scripture is. So I thank you from the core of my heart. Hare Krishna. So please give Jai Dhani Anandman Prabhu.
श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गणपति गिरिधारी राधे विनोद बिहारी जी की जय। विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद् भक्ति विनंत विष्णु देवती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद् भक्ति विनंत गांधी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद् भक्ति विनंत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद् भक्ति विनंत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद् भक्ति विनंत स्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज के नित्य प्रविष्ट विष्णु पर स्तोत्र शता श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद के जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट परम भगवत द्वारा श्री गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट श्री सत्यानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर के जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री गौरी वेदांत आचार्य श्री विद्याभूषण प्रभु के जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री नरोत्तम श्री वैश्याम प्रभु राय की जय। श्री कृष्ण कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु श्री रूप सनातन बात रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल बात दास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय राम प्रसाद बिंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री वेदी गदाधर शिवसती गौर भक्त बिंद की जय। श्री अंतर्द्वीप मायपुर सीमांतद्वीप गोद्रुमद्वीप मध्यद्वीप कौलद्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानुद्वीप मोद्र ध्रुवद्वीप उदयद्वीप पद्मकाश श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री राधाकृष्ण गोपाल गोपी गोवर्धन द्वादश भक्त श्री ब्रजमंडल की जय। श्री राधकुंड श्यामकुंड गंगा यमुना भक्त देवी की जय। श्रीमती विंध्य देवी की जय। श्री बोरमास योग माई की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर देव की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र जी की जय की जय। श्री मंदिर की जय। सर्व विघ्न विनाशकर श्री नरसिंहदेव की जय। भक्त प्रभाव श्री प्रहलाद महाराज के चार धाम की जय। चार संप्रदाय की जय। चार छाया की जय। अखर मतराज की चेतन मार्ग की जय। श्री केशव जी गौरी मात ओत सकमात समकृत की जय। ग्रंथ राशि भागवतम की जय। श्री नाम संकीर्तन की जय। गोती वैष्णव वृंद की जय। सामगात भक्त वृंद की जय। हरि
Hari Bol. Jai Shananman Prabhu ki Jai. Thank you so much. And tomorrow's class, Vishaka has announced, but tomorrow we will be discussing the pastimes of Narsingadev from Srimad Bhagavatam. Because tomorrow is Narsingadev's appearance day. So Srila Gurudev had ordered us that on the appearance day of Narsingadev, we should not discuss anything but the pastimes of Bhagavan Sri Narsingadev and teachings of Prahlad Maharaj especially. And straight from Bhagavatam, not nothing else, nothing something that we imagine or we think of or any other pastimes, but straight we'll discuss Bhagavatam pastimes. But the pastimes of Srimad, pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj are in further canto. We don't have that version online yet in Hindi because Amal Krishna Prabhu from Mathura has put first to fourth cantos online, but hard copy is available. And I don't have that hard copy, but hard copy is available. The whole set of Hindi Bhagavatam is being sold for 2,000 rupees, 2,000 something. For us, he gave us some concession. So anyways, we'll discuss from maybe Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Bhagavatam, we'll discuss Prahlad Maharaj pastimes. And I have one big book also, Anirudh Prabhu's books, because he has given the essence of that. So we'll discuss from that also. And Prahlad Maharaj teachings we'll discuss. So thank you so much for being here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Prams. Thank you so much. Shripad Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Daivata Mj ki Jai. Vanchakapati Krishna. Kripasini Vijja Patitanam Vaishnavi. Thank you so much, Marge, for attending today. And Marge, another thing, your sound was very bad today, actually.
Oh, was it very bad? Okay.
Yeah, it was cutting a lot in between for like a couple minutes. So it was very
maybe there is some. Let me see. I have to see what I can do about it. Okay. Maybe I didn't have that loudspeaker with me.
No, Marge, you were speaking, but it was like your internet that was not coming through.
Oh, internet was not coming through because now it is clear. Is it clear now?
Yes, now it's clear, but before there
Or
was a
maybe
lot
that
of.
another data connection, data connection was not correct.
Okay,
Yeah. But all right. So tomorrow I hope we'll not face this problem. Okay.
no problem. So, Marge, tomorrow we're not reading page 25. So tomorrow is the 4th. On the 5th, we'll read
We,
page 20.
we will be reading the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj.
Okay.
Teachings of Prahlad Maharaj and the pastimes of Nrsingadev. We will not be able to read everything, but we'll discuss some important verses from the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because especially 7th canto, the 7 cantos, 6th chapter discusses Prahlad instructs his demoniac schoolmates. So this is very, very important. These are very important teachings. For example, uh, if you see the verse 7.6.4, न तत्प्रयासो न कर्तव्यो यत् आयुर्गया परम न तथा विन्दते क्षेमं मुकुंद चरणाम्बुजम्. Endeavors merely for sense gratification or material happiness through economic development are not to be performed, for they result only in a loss of time and energy with no actual profit. So, like a lot of times, devotees also, they become very worried that we are not making enough money. Maybe we can improve our economic situation and then maybe we'll engage in devotional service. So here Prahlad Maharaj is telling that don't try to achieve sense gratification or material happiness on the basis of economic development. That will never bring you happiness. It's just a waste of time and energy. If one's endeavors are directed towards Krishna consciousness, one can surely attain the spiritual platform of self-realization. Instead, whatever time we are spending in trying to earn money, more and more money, and accumulating gadgets, and we should try to spend in Krishna consciousness. So there is no such benefit from engaging oneself in economic development. Because Dandi Maharaj also tells devotees that don't be so much worried about money. And Gurudev also used to tell that Krishna will maintain you. Krishna will maintain you. Ananyashchintayanto mamijana pariyupasate tesham nitya priyuktanam yogakshamam maham. So here Prabhupada is telling that we see materialistic persons busily engaged in economic development all day and all night. So you'll see that people are simply working very hard all day and day, all day, all night. There are people who are working in 2 shifts, 3 shifts also, just trying to increase their material opulence. But even if we suppose that they get some benefit from such endeavors, that does not solve the real problem of their lives. So how much money they earn, the real problems are not solved. Nor do they know what the real problem of life is. This is due to a lack of spiritual education. So what is our real problem? The real problem, Prabhupada is telling that birth, disease, old age and death. You have to become old. No, who wants to become old? No one wants to be old. But the material nature is forcing us to be old. This is the real problem. Especially in the present age, every man is in darkness in the bodily conception of life, not knowing anything of the spirit soul and its needs. So people are in total darkness. They don't know what is the spirit soul and what is the goal of life. Misguided by the blind leaders of society, people consider the body to be everything and they are engaged in trying to keep the body materially comfortable. So the leaders are also like that. The leaders only tell you, there are many schemes of the government to keep the body healthy. The body, I don't condemn those schemes. They're good. But there should also be some schemes from government for spiritual upliftment, such as study of Bhagavatam, study of Bhagavad Gita. these books of Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj should be distributed. They should be studied as textbooks in the schools. Such a civilization is condemned because it does not lead humanity towards knowing the real goal of life. So this is Ravana's civilization. Ravana was also very opulent. Ravana had kingdom, he had palace of gold, city of gold, and he had lot of progeny, 1 lakh sons, and he had 1.25 lakhs grandsons. What happened actually? Finally, everything was destroyed. People are simply wasting time and the valuable gift of human form because a human being who does not cultivate spiritual life but dies like the cats and dogs is degraded in this next life. Suppose you give up your life without cultivating Krishna consciousness, then you will be degraded. You'll have to go to the animal species. You will not get the human form of life again. So from human life, such a person is put into cycle of continuous birth and death. So human life is a platform to escape, to go to the spiritual world. But if person does not take advantage of this human form of life and does not go back to Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan, then again he will have to enter into this cycle of birth and death. Thus one loses the true benefit of human life, which is to become Krishna conscious and solve life's problems. So the true benefit of human life is to become Krishna conscious and once and for all get rid of all the problems. But if you don't take to Krishna consciousness, then you are wasting time. So Prahlad is telling, Tato yate takushala kshemaya bhavamāśrita shariram paurusham yavan navipaddeta pushkalam. Therefore, while in material existence, bhava ashrita, a person fully competent to distinguish wrong from right must endeavor to achieve the highest goal of life, as long as the body is stout and strong and is not embarrassed by dwindling. You see that as long as the body has strength, now we are young, and we are strong, then try to chant Hare Krishna, try to follow Ekadashi, try to do bhakti. Prahlad is telling, don't waste your time. Otherwise, you'll be embarrassed in the end when your body will start dwindling. Then you'll not be able to sit for a long time. Your stomach will always be upset. You'll have back pain, hip bone pain, and this and that. So as stated by Prahlad Maharaj at the beginning of this chapter, Kaumara Acharit Pragya. Now this is a very wonderful instruction of Prahlad. Kaumara Acharit Pragya Dharman Bhagavatāniha Durlavam Manusham Janma Tadavi Adruvam Arthatam. The word Pragya refers to one who is experienced and who can distinguish right from wrong. Such a person should not waste his energy and valuable human lifetime simply working like a cat or dog to develop his economic condition. Suppose you have developed some transcendental knowledge by the mercy of Gurudev, Vaishnavas, reading books, then why waste your valuable human life trying to earn money like cats and dogs? Try to develop Krishna consciousness in your time, whatever time you have, as long as young age is there. For one word in this verse, there are two readings, Bhavam Ashrita and Bhayam Ashrita. But accepting the meaning of either of them will bring one to the same conclusion. Bhayam Ashrita indicates that the materialistic way of life is always fearful because at every step there is a danger. So materialistic way of life is fearful. Every step there is a danger. Padam padam vipadam natesha. Materialistic life is full of anxieties and fear. Bhayam. Similarly, accepting reading Bhavam Ashrita, the word Bhavam refers to unnecessary trouble and problems. For want of Krishna consciousness, one is put into Bhavam, being perpetually embarrassed by birth, death, old age, and disease. So, Bhavam Ashrita and Bhayam Ashrita, both are right. Bhava means repetition of birth and death. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, Punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Adi Shankaracharya told. A Brahman who was studying grammar. Don't waste your time. Worship Govinda. Prahlad is telling the same thing. Human society should be divided into a social system of Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. But everyone can engage in devotional service. So there is no hard and fast rule. You may belong to any social class. You can engage in devotional service. If one wants to live without devotional service, his status as a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra certainly has no meaning. What is the use? Oh, I am a very high class Brahmana, but I don't chant Hare Krishna. I don't follow Ekadashi. Then such Brahmanism is not of any use. Higher birth is useless if one is not following Ekadashi, one is not chanting Hare Krishna. It is said, Sthana Drashta Patantyada. Whether one is in higher or lower consciousness, whether one is in a higher or lower division, one certainly falls down for want of Krishna consciousness. If you don't become Krishna conscious, then you will fall down from your position as a Brahmana. A sane man, therefore, is always fearful of falling from his position. This is a regulatory principle. One should not fall from his exalted position. The highest goal of life can be achieved as long as one's body is stout and strong. So how can we achieve the topmost goal? If body is not strong, we cannot achieve the topmost goal. We should therefore live in such a way that we keep ourselves always healthy and strong in mind and intelligence so that we can distinguish the goal of life from a life full of problems. So we should remain mentally strong, physically strong. We should use our intelligence. And how will we develop transcendental intelligence? By association with sadhus. So we should know what is the goal of my life. My goal of life is to achieve Krishna Prem. But if I engage in mundane pursuit, then actually I am choosing a life full of problems. A thoughtful man must act in this way, learning to distinguish right from wrong, and thus attain the goal of life. So we should know what is right, what is wrong. It is right to study Bhagavatam. It is wrong to study mundane scriptures, mundane books. So this is Prahlad Maharaj's teachings. These are all very wonderful teachings. They are full of nectar. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada told that he has read his teachings 108 times. So we should also try to tomorrow discuss the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, which are very, very important. But Prahlad was such a great devotee. He was tortured by his father, but he never forgot Krishna. So he is the Acharya. He is the Mahajan, Dwadash Mahajan, the great personality. His teachings we will discuss tomorrow because his teachings will encourage us to get mercy of Bhagavan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much and thank you for your time again. So thank you, dear devotees, for joining in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Sorry, Maharaj, is it the same time tomorrow as well?
Yeah, tomorrow 7 o'clock, and we'll discuss 7.6 means Srimad Bhagavatam 7.6. You can mention that. We'll specifically, we'll discuss chapter 7.6. So Canto 7, chapter 6. Those who have Holy of Prabhupada. Because this is the Prahlad instructions to his demonic schoolmates. We'll discuss them. There are many teachings, but these teachings, Srila Gurudev used to like very much. So even if we are able to cover few shlokas tomorrow, then I think we'll get the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj and Narsingadev. Because these are very, very important teachings. Srila Gurudev will be certainly pleased if we discussed even some important teachings, if not everything. Because the pastime everyone knows, but teachings, not many people know. So here, very important teaching. Muktasya bale kaishore kirdato yati vimshati jaraya grasta dehasya yatta kalpasya vimshati. Now this is exactly what Shankaracharya is telling. There is such coincidence. बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्ता तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्ता वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तामग्ना परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न लग्ना. In childhood, we are very attached to toys. In youth, we are running after our boyfriend or girlfriend. And old age, we are simply worried what will happen to me, whether my children will look after me or not. So this is the conditioned soul's life. So Prahlad is telling in the tender age of childhood, when everyone is bewildered, one passes 10 years. So 10 years, the child doesn't know what is going on. Similarly, in boyhood, engaged in sporting and playing, one passes another 10 years. In this way, 20 years are wasted. Similarly, in old age, when one is an invalid, unable to perform even material activities, one passes another 20 years wasted. So it's giving us exactly, suppose human lifespan is 100 years, and how first 20 years of childhood and youth are wasted in non-Krishna conscious activities. Without Krishna consciousness, Swami Maharaj is telling, one wastes 20 years in childhood and boyhood, and another 20 years in old age, when one cannot perform any material activities and is full of anxiety about what is to be done by sons and grandsons and how one's estate should be protected. Half of these years are spent in sleep. Furthermore, one wastes another 30 years sleeping at night during the rest of his life. The 70 out of 100 years are wasted by a person who does not know the aim of life and how to utilize this human form. Dura purena kamena mohena cha baliyasa shesham gruheshu sattasya pramattas sthapayati. One whose mind and senses are uncontrolled becomes increasingly attached to family life because of insatiable lusty desires and very strong illusion. In such a madman's life, the remaining years are also wasted because even during those years, he cannot engage himself in devotional service. So this is giving the account of 100 years. Swami Maharaj is telling, this is the account of 100 years of life. Although in this age, a lifetime of 100 years is generally not possible. Even if one has 100 years, the calculation is that 50 years are wasted in sleeping, 20 years in childhood and boyhood, and 20 years in invalidity, Jara Vyadhi. This leaves only a few more years, but because of too much attachment to household life, these years are also spent with no purpose, without God consciousness. Therefore, one should be trained to be a perfect brahmachari in the beginning of life. Then, being perfect in self-control, one will follow the regulatory principles even if he becomes a householder. From householder life, one is ordered to accept vanaprastha life and go to the forest and then accept sannyas. That is the perfection of life. From the very beginning of life, those who are atme ajitendriyas, who cannot control their senses, are educated only for sense gratification, as we have seen in the Western countries. Thus, the entire duration of a life of even 100 years is wasted and misused. At the time of death, one transmigrates to another body which may not be human. At the end of 100 years, one who has not acted as a human being in a life of tapasya, austerity and penance must certainly be embodied again in a body like those of cats, dogs, and hogs. Therefore, this life of lusty desires and sense gratification is extremely risky. So, Hare Krishna. So, we'll discuss more teachings tomorrow. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, we are fasting from grains and beans, entire 24 hours period, and we'll be taking some prasadam in the evening time, but that prasadam will be Ekadashi Anukalpa prasadam, fruit and potatoes, groundnuts, any type of sabji, especially potato sabji is very famous. And then day after tomorrow, we break the fast after sunrise. Tomorrow till evening, if possible, ideal case, one should not take anything. But if not possible, then one can take a little lemon water or something, lemon jaggery water, shikanji, or just plain water one can take somehow, if you are feeling very thirsty and very, very drowsy. But then evening time, we can take some, after dusk, we can worship Narsingadev, if possible to Abhishek of Shaligram Shila, and then we can honor the Ekadashi Prasad. There will be class at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Anshakal Patra Vishnu. Dandavats. Narsingadev Bhagwan ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you again for all your time.
Thank you, Shata
Thank
Devi.
you,
Hare
dear.
Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare
Thank you, dear devotees, for joining in today. And we'll see you all tomorrow at 4:30 India time as well with Shripad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj, and again at 7 p.m. with Shripad Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Daivata Maharaj. So, dear devotees, we'll see you tomorrow for 2 classes. And thank you very much, Maharaj. Again, thank you, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hello. Jai. Shata Devi ki jai. Samasta Vaishnava ki jai. Hello.
Jai.